Rule 39, Rules of Court, Execution, Satisfaction, and Effect of Judgment, Section 11, Execution of Special Judgments. When a judgment requires the performance of any act other than those mentioned in the two preceding sections, a certified copy of the judgment shall be attached to the writ of execution and shall be served by the officer upon the party against whom the same is rendered, or upon any other person required thereby or by law to obey the same, and such party or person may be punished for contempt if he disobeys such judgment. Section 12. Effect of levy on execution as to third persons. The levy on execution shall create a lien in favor of the judgment obligee over the right, title, and interest of the judgment obligor in such property at that time of the levy, subject to liens and encumbrances then existing. Section 13. Property exempt from execution. Except as otherwise expressly provided by law, the following property and no other shall be exempt from execution. A. The judgment obligor's family home, as provided by law, or the homestead in which he resides, and the land necessary use in connection therewith. B. Ordinary tools and implements personally used by him in his trade, employment, or livelihood. C. 3 horses, or 3 cows, or 3 carabaos, or other beasts of burden, such as the judgment obligor may select necessarily used by him in his ordinary occupation. D. His necessary clothing and articles for ordinary personal use, excluding jewelry. E. Household furniture and utensils necessary for housekeeping and used for that purpose by the judgment obligor and his family, such as the judgment obligor may select of a value not exceeding 100,000 pesos. F. Provisions for individual or family use sufficient for 4 months. 6. G. The professional libraries and equipment of judges, lawyers, physicians, pharmacists, dentists, engineers, surveyors, clergymen, teachers, and other professional not exceeding 300,000 pesos in value. H. 1 fishing boat and accessories not exceeding the total value of 100,000 pesos owned by a fisherman and by the lawful use of which he earns his livelihood. I. So much of the salaries, wages, or earnings of the judgment obligor for his personal services within the 4 months preceding the levy as are necessary for the support of his family. J. Lettered gravestones. K. Monies, benefits, privilege, or annuities accruing or in any manner growing out of any life insurance. L. The right to receive legal support or money or property obtained as such support or any pension or gratuity from the government. M. Properties especially exempted by law. But no article or species of property mentioned in this section shall be exempt from execution issued upon a judgment recovered for its price or upon a judgment of foreclosure of a mortgage thereon. Section 13. Return of writ of execution. Return of writ of execution. The writ of execution shall be returnable to the court issuing it immediately after the judgment has been satisfied in part or in full. If the judgment cannot be satisfied in full within 30 days after his receipt of the writ, the officer shall report to the court and state the reason therefor. Such writ shall continue in effect during the period within which The judgment may be enforced by motion. The officer shall make a report to the court every 30 days on the proceeding taken thereon until the judgment is satisfied in full or its effectivity expires. The returns or periodic reports shall set forth the whole of the proceedings taken and shall be filed with the court, and copies thereof promptly furnish the parties. Section 15. Notice of sale of property on execution before the sale of property. Notice of sale of property on execution. Before the sale of property on execution, notice thereof must be given as follows. A. In case of perishable property, by posting written notice of the time and place of the sale in 3 public places, preferably in conspicuous areas of the municipal or city hall, post office, and public market in the municipality or city where the sale is to take place, for such time as may be reasonable, considering the character and condition of the property. B. In case of other personal property, by posting a similar notice in the 3 public places above mentioned for not less than 5 days. C. In case of real property, by posting of 20 days in the 3 public places above mentioned, a similar notice particularly describing the property and stating where the property is to be sold, and if the assessed value of the property exceeds 50,000 pesos, by publishing a copy of the notice once a week for 2 consecutive weeks in a newspaper selected by raffle, whether in English, Filipino, or any major regional language, published, edited, or circulated, or in the absence thereof, having general circulations in the province or city. D. In all cases, written notice of the sale shall be given to the judgment obligor at least 3 days before the sale, except as provided in paragraph A hereof, where notice shall be given at any time before the sale, in the same manner as personal service of pleadings and other papers as provided by Section 6 of Rule 13. The notice shall specify the place and date and exact time of the sale, which should not be earlier than 9 o'clock in the morning and not later than 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The place of the sale may be agreed upon by the parties. In the absence of such agreement, the sale of real property or personal property not capable of manual delivery shall be held in the office of the clerk of court of the regional trial court or the municipal trial court which issued the writ or which was designated by the appellate court. In the case of personal property capable of manual delivery, the sale shall be held in the place where the property is located. Section 16. Proceedings where property claimed by third person. If the property levied on is claimed by any person other than the judgment obligor or his agent, and such person makes an affidavit of his title thereto or right to the possession thereof, stating the grounds of such right or title, and serves the same upon the officer making the levy and a copy thereof upon the judgment obligee, the officer shall not be bound to keep the property unless such judgment obligee on demand of the officer files a bond approved by the court to indemnify the third-party claimant in a sum not less than the value of the property levied on. In case of disagreement as to such value, the same shall be determined by the court issuing the writ of execution. No claim for damages for the taking or keeping of the property may be enforced against the bond unless the action therefore is filled within 120 days from the date of the filing of the bond. The officer shall not be liable for damages for the taking or keeping of the property to any third-party claimant if such bond is filed. Nothing herein contained shall prevent such claimant or any third person from vindicating his claim to the property in a separate action, or prevent the judgment obligee from claiming damages in the same or separate action against a third-party claimant who filed a frivolous or plainly spurious claim. When the writ of execution is issued in favor of the Republic of the Philippines or any officer duly representing it, the filing of such bond shall not be required, and in case the sheriff or levying officer is sued for damages as a result of the levy, he shall be represented by the Solicitor General, and if held liable therefore, the actual damages adjudged by the court shall be paid by the National Treasurer out of such funds as may be appropriated for the purpose. Section 17. Penalty for selling without notice or removing or defacing notice. An officer selling without the notice prescribed by Section 15 of this rule shall be liable to pay punitive damages in the amount of 5,000 pesos to any person injured thereby, in addition to his actual damages, both to be recovered by motion in the same action. And a person willfully removing or defacing the notice posted, if done before the sale or before the satisfaction of the judgment, if it's satisfied before the sale, shall be liable to pay 5,000 pesos to any person injured by reason thereof, in addition to his actual damages to be recovered by motion in the same action. Section 18. No sale if judgment and costs paid. No sale if judgment and costs paid. At any time before the sale of property on execution, the judgment obligor may prevent the sale by paying the amount required by the execution and the costs that have been incurred therein. Section 19. How property sold on execution. Who may direct manner and order of sale. All sales of property under execution may be made at public auction to the highest bidder to start at the exact time fixed in the notice. After sufficient property has been sold to satisfy the execution, no more shall be sold and any excess property or proceeds of the sale shall be promptly delivered to the judgment obligor or his authorized representative, unless otherwise directed by the judgment or order of the court. When the sale is of real property consisting of several known lots, they may be sold separately, or when a portion of such real property is claimed by a third person, he may require it to be sold separately. When the sale is of personal property capable of manual delivery, it must be sold within view of those attending the same and in such parcels as are likely to bring the highest price. The judgment obligor, if present at the sale, may direct the order in which property, real or personal, shall be sold when such property consists of several known lots or parcels which can be sold to advantage separately. Neither the officer conducting the execution sale nor his deputies can become a purchaser, nor be interested directly or indirectly in any purchase at a sale. Section 20. Refusal of purchaser to pay. If a purchaser refuses to pay the amount bid by him for property struck off to him at a sale under execution, the officer may again sell the property to the highest bidder and shall not be responsible for any loss occasioned thereby, but the court may order the refusing purchaser to pay into the court the amount of such loss with costs, and may punish him for contempt if he disobey the order. The amount of such payment shall be for the benefit of the person entitled to the proceeds of the execution, unless the execution has been fully satisfied, in which event such proceeds shall be for the benefit of the judgment obligor. The officer may thereafter reject any subsequent bid of such purchaser who refused to pay. Section 21. Judgment obligee as purchaser. When the purchaser is the judgment obligee and no third party claim has been filed, he need not pay the amount of the bid if it does not exceed the amount of his judgment. If it does, he shall pay only the excess. Section 22. Adjournment of sale. By written consent of the judgment obligor and obligee, or their duly authorized representative, the officer may adjourn the sale to any date and time agreed upon by them. Without such agreement, he may adjourn the sale from day to day if it becomes necessary to do so for lack of time to complete the sale on the day fixed in the notice or the day to which it was adjourned. Section 23. Conveyance to purchaser or purchaser of personal property capable of manual delivery. When the purchaser of any personal property capable of manual delivery pays the purchase price, the officer making the sale must deliver the property to the purchaser and, if desired, execute and deliver to him a certificate of sale. The sale conveys to the purchaser all the rights which the judgment obligor had in such property as of the date of the levy on execution or preliminary judgment. Section 24. Conveyance to purchase of personal property not capable of manual delivery. When the purchaser of any personal property not capable of manual delivery pays the purchase price, the officer making the sale must execute and deliver to the purchaser a certificate of sale. Such certificate conveys to the purchaser all the rights which the judgment obligor had in such property as of the date of the levy on execution or preliminary attachment. Section 25. Conveyance of real property, certificate thereof, given to the purchaser and filed with Registry of Deeds. Upon a sale of real property, the officer must give to the purchaser a certificate of sale containing a particular description of the real property sold, b. the price paid for each distinct lot or parcel, c. the whole price paid by him, d. a statement that the right of redemption expires 1 year from the date of the registration of the certificate of sale. Such certificate must be registered in the Registry of Deeds of the place where the property is situated. Section 26. Certificate of sale where property claimed by third person. When a property sold by virtue of a writ of execution has been claimed by a third person, the certificate of sale to be issued by the sheriff pursuant to Section 23, 24, and 25 of this rule shall make express mention of the existence of such third-party claim. Section 27. Who may redeem real property to so sold. Real property sold as provided in the last preceding section or any part thereof, sold separately, may be redeemed in the manner herein provided by the following persons. A. The judgment obligor or his successor in interest in the whole or any part of the property. B. A creditor having a lien by virtue of an attachment, judgment, or mortgage on the property sold or on some part thereof, subsequent to the lien under which the property was sold. Such redeeming creditor is termed a redemptioner. Section 28. Time and manner of and amounts payable on successive redemptions. notice to be given and filed. The judgment obligor or redemptioner may redeem the property from the purchaser at any time within 1 year from the date of the registration of the certificate of sale by paying the purchaser the amount of his purchase with 1% per month interest thereon in addition up to the time of the redemption together with the period of any assessment or taxes which the purchaser may have paid thereon after purchase. The interest on such last name amount at the same rate, and if the purchaser be also creditor having a prior lien to that of the redemptioner, other than the judgment under which the purchase was made, the amount of such other lien with interest. Property so redeemed may again be redeemed within 60 days after the last redemption upon payment of the sum paid on the last redemption with 2% tum thereon in addition, and the amount of any assessment or taxes which the last redemptioner may have paid after redemption by him, with interest on such last named amount, and in addition, the amount of any liens held by said last redemptioner prior to his own with interest. The property may be again at and as often as a redemptioner is so disposed, redeemed from any previous redemptioner within 60 days after the last redemption on paying the sum paid on the last previous redemption with 2% tum thereon in addition, and the amount of any assessment or taxes which the last previous redemptioner paid after the redemption thereon with interest thereon, and the amount of any liens held by the last redemptioner prior to his own with interest. Written notice of any redemption must be given to the officer who made the sale and a duplicate filed with the registry of deeds of the place. And if the assessment or taxes are paid by the redemptioner, or if he has or acquires any lien other than that upon which the redemption was made, notice thereof must in like manner be given to the officer and filed with the registry of deeds. If such notice be not filed, the property may be redeemed without paying such assessment, taxes, or liens.